let's ignore the terrible story now and talk about the gameplay. Where the heck do I begin? Colors ruined what made these games great. In Colors, you have the boost, but remember when I said Sonic forgot how to use rings to boost? Well, this time, your boost is limited to Wisp capsules, so boost sparingly, I guess. I can accept this change, just as long as the game is mostly 3D. Is it? No. Colors is 70% 2D, and all the 2D sections can be blocky platforming. People say that Colors went back to basics. What basics do you mean? What they should have done was give Sonic a spin dash if we're not boosting all the time. Wait a second. What do you mean it's a Wisp power-up? Wisps are power-ups you can find throughout the levels. There's only really one or two that I like, and I want to talk about all of them individually, but look at how long this video is going already. For those of you who complained about the Hedgewolf being not Sonic, I don't get what's Sonic-like about these sad cretins. This game got really good reviews, and I think I know why. It didn't have swearing, it wasn't broken, and it didn't have a werewolf in it, so automatically 8 out of 10, best Sonic game in years, IGN. Of course, this is IGN we're talking about, but all the other game critics said the same exact thing. Look, I only thought this game was okay. Nothing more, nothing less. But to be honest, whenever I play Colors again, I always turn Supersonic on. Whenever people like Twip say that Colors saved the franchise, or that it was the best Sonic game ever, I just cringe. If you love Colors to death, then fine, I won't take that away from you. But I think Colors is the most overrated Sonic game ever, and probably always will be. After Sonic Colors came out with critical praise, Sonic's 20th anniversary was right around the corner, so since the Boost gameplay was being received well, they decided to take another stab at it. But this time, they were going on next-gen hardware again. The game was released in November of 2011, and it was considered to be even better than Colors. Thankfully, it is. Let's get started with the plot, if you want to even call it that anymore. There is little to no story in this game, so doing a summary would just be a waste of time. The overall writing is very generic and boring too. I can't help but to notice how rushed and forgettable the story in this game was. I think that cheesy Sonic stories could work well. Heck, I actually enjoyed Sonic Heroes cutscenes as a kid, and still do as a 14-year-old, but the games written by Pontiac and Gruff, I just can't enjoy them at all. The voice acting is good. Heck, aside from the Sonic Boom TV series on Cartoon Network, this is the best that the new voice cast has done. I can tell that they tried their best to deliver these lines. Yes, even Kirk Thornton as Shadow is trying his best. In terms of what I think of the new voice cast, I thought they were alright in the games, but in Sonic Boom, the cartoon, they were great. I only just did this about a week ago, but I played 2 Sonic games using the Japanese voices. The first one was SA1, but the second one was Generations, and the Japanese voices are pretty good too. I think I actually kind of like the Japanese voices more in Generations. Story is not what makes a game good or bad. That determining factor is the gameplay. So, did I enjoy it? Well, just like Unleashed, Generations offers 2 different gameplay styles, but they're still both different versions of Sonic. First, there's Classic Sonic, who looks the way he did back in the Genesis days, with the black eyes and being chubbier. He goes through entirely 2D levels, and they're alright. They're just not as fun and lack the replay values that the Genesis games had. Then there are the modern levels, in which Sonic has green eyes and all. He plays like he did in Unleashed. You know what that means. They brought the ring boosting back, and it's mostly 3D. Yes! The only problem I have with the 2D sections are the fact that Classic Sonic exists in this game. So they feel redundant, but they're short and designed well again. Speaking for short, that's my problem with Generations levels. All of them are only 2 to 3 minutes long, when in Unleashed the few daytime levels were that long, but the later levels were 4 to 7 minutes. That's perfect length in my opinion, but in Generations, the levels are too fast for their own good. The only level in the game that's longer than 3 minutes was Planet Wisp. Yes, you heard me correctly. All of this game's levels and bosses are taking inspiration from a previous game. For the classic era, we have Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1, Chemical Plant from Sonic 2, Sky Sanctuary from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Metal Sonic from Sonic CD, and the Death Egg Robot from Sonic 2. For the Dreamcast era, we have Speed Highway from Sonic Adventure, City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2, and Seaside Hill from Sonic Heroes, which I'm also doing a video explaining why Heroes is the closest thing to Adventure 3. And for bosses, we have Shadow from SA2 and Perfect Chaos from SA1. Now for the modern era, we have Crisis City from Sonic 06, Rooftop Run from I love this game! And Planet Wisp from Sonic Colors. Some of the levels are better than the original. Some are not. Speaking of original, how's the soundtrack? Which I didn't mention when I talked about Colors. Colors soundtrack was good, but I really have to think about it if it's worthy of my top 10. Generations music was everything was a remix, and the only ones I really like are Modern Chemical Plant, Classic Speed Highway, both Classic and Modern City Escape, and both Classic and Modern Crisis City. That's it. Also, is it just me, or do Classic Chemical Plant and Modern Speed Highway sound identical to the original? Huh. So why do I like these games? I think it's because I like the idea of the boost. I'd rather build up momentum over time, but I do like being able to tap into it immediately. I love plowing through enemies with it, and once I memorize the levels, I'll know when to boost and when not to get through each level as quick as possible, and maybe even earn a new time. There are tons of alternate pathways in the levels. Like, last night I was playing Speed Highway in Generations, and I discovered one I never had before, and that's where the last Red Ring was. The levels are pretty replayable and provide me a lot of enjoyment. Eggman Land, in my opinion, was a good level for being a little challenging and encouraging me to go back to get the S rank. And guess what? I did! I S-ranked Eggman Land about 2 weeks ago. I also like how drifting makes you go faster. It's almost like having a super boost ability, which that's something else cool about these games. You have some good moves at your disposal, such as the Stomp, and you could upgrade your abilities. They all also have something to make them different, so it doesn't feel like you're playing the same game every time. They also combine speed, platforming, exploration, and combat well. When I say I like these games, I'm mostly talking about Unleashed and Generations, but I still find Colors okay. So, I could say that I enjoy every game in this trilogy, despite their mostly lackluster stories and dated elements. If I were to rank all of these games on the Sonic ranking system, Unleashed would be a shiny S rank, Colors would be a C, and Generations would be a B. So overall, I'd give the modern Sonic trilogy a B, or at the most, a very low A. I have to thank you all for watching this video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and comment if you feel like it. Subscribe if you want to be notified for when my next video comes out. But until then, I'm Bill Dozer, and I'm gonna doze off.